Hello out there in YouTube land.
Welcome back.
We thought we would talk about some extra things that you can do with your makeup. And by that we mean the addition of face paints. Now, I think a lot of people don't really think about mixing the two things together.
They tend to not, and, some people do break out with it, so make sure, as always, you test it on maybe your inner wrist.
And, they've also have come out with some really good face paints that are totally non-toxic now and are good for sensitive skin.
Yes.
So, you just kind of have to shop around a little bit. They're not the face paints that we grew up with.
No, and they're certainly not, the little $2 ones that you find every Halloween. These are,
the average price for a palette's about $20.
Yeah.
You want to go with like a brand that's really good for like non-toxic and sensitive skin is Bo Buggles.
Yeah.
That one's really good. And then
everybody's heard of Ben Nye.
Yeah.
So.
But the thing we want to preface is that when you get into the professional face paint stuff like Ben Nye, Mayron, Kryolan, those all have pigments that tend to stain.
They do.
So know that you paint your face with those, there's a chance that your skin will get stained.
So, if that's not your goal, use it sparingly.
And we can also talk about something that will prevent that.
Yeah.
But this is basically a little video on professional makeup ideas and tips.
Yes.
So, one of the things you can do to prevent staining on your skin is to use a barrier spray.
You can.
And you can get those from Mayron, and Ben Nye has kind of an overall spray that's not just a barrier spray, but also a really intense setting spray called Final Seal. But it can be used for both. The Mayron product is actually really cool because it is such a barrier spray that you can lay down a color, spray this barrier spray, let it dry, and then lay on another color on top, and the colors won't bleed together.
And while you're doing all this, do remember, still do your normal skin routines, because some of this stuff can be very drying.
Most of these products that are some type of spray that are with professional theatrical makeup are alcohol-based. There is one that we know of that is water-based, but it has another chemical in it that we don't like too well. But at any rate, basically what you want to do if you're going to incorporate face paint in your makeup, and I'll post a picture out right here of a look that I did that was like the Snake Queen thing, and what I had done to add the face paint stuff was the white around my eyes and then the accents on the scales. What I did was make sure I had all my other makeup done prior to.
Right.
And then I just added the face paint accents on top. And because I already had something else underneath of it, I didn't have any staining because I used the professional face paint.
Right.
But Bo Buggles and Snazaroo certainly work. It's just that I had this palette, so I decided to use it. It wasn't that I actually do quite like the Snazaroo Black because it's actually really nicely pigmented, and I got the idea from Jake Monroe. It works really great as a neck covering.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you want to go into a face paint that's on the more affordable end, Snazaroo certainly works. But these sprays are something that Tabby and I really, really like.
Yes. And they make a variety of them. They are, many purposes.
I mean, this is the type of stuff that's designed to make your makeup look last through extreme stage lighting, lights on sets, and in some cases, doused in a pool if you're doing water work.
And that is, that's something that not many setting sprays can boast.
Yeah.
So, and
I mean, any of your stuff that, you see regularly, the Urban Decay setting spray, they're not designed for any of this.
No. Neither is the MAC.
No.
The Prime spray and stuff
No,
like that.
it's not.
So, this is something that you can use if you absolutely cannot have your makeup come off.
I'd say, if you're going to cosplay at a convention.
Right.
Or if you're going to be at an amusement park doing some sort of theatrical thing. Those are the type of applications for this stuff, or if you happen to get involved with a movie, not many of us do, but some people do. This is what this stuff is for, not everyday stuff, because everyday stuff, you want to use the MAC, or the Urban Decay, or the Milani, whatever brand it is that you happen to like that works well with your skin, because they're not as harsh on the skin.
That is one thing, after you are done with your look for the day, you do need to probably remove it. Take care of your skin. Okay,
Yes.
If you don't have that base and the skincare regimen, then
You're going to have some
you have
problems.
some breakouts.
You know, and a lot of people kind of assume that the only thing you'll have is, like, acne. No, we're talking about anything from, like, extreme peeling to rashes and all these other things. So you need to have a full skincare thing going on
Now
and in mind.
You know, that being said, you can incorporate these into your everyday look. I've noticed, a lot of looks where they actually bring eyeliner out and, do all these beautiful designs. You can do that completely.
You don't need these sprays to pull that off either.
No.
That's just the eyeliner stuff. But if you want these things to stay well, and you're going to be, like, sweating a lot or that type of thing, then these sprays can be useful.
And that's more to, adding what I was, alluding to. That's more of the actual paints.
Yeah.
Not so much the sprays. Now, granted, if you're going to a water park and you have to have your...
Then we'll get into some of these that, When I went to makeup school, we were taught... This is prior to any of these setting sprays being a commonplace thing. So we were taught the old-fashioned drag queen trick of using Aquanet hairspray as a setting spray.
Which is actually what I used when I was a ballet dancer for many years, when I did stage
And,
makeup.
it makes makeup last through sweating and hot lights very well.
Yes.
I think it's gotten a little bit too much of a bad rap recently in terms of a setting spray. The reason why I say that is that, people tend to focus on the fact it has alcohol and it has polymers in it that will make your face sticky. Except for a lot of the makeup brand setting sprays do the same thing.
They will have alcohol in it because it's a fast drying mechanism. The key with any setting spray, or if you use Aquanet, don't inhale it.
No. That's bad. Also, keep your eyes closed because you don't want these things getting in your eyes. Or your mouth open.
Right.
Again, you don't want to ingest these things because they're not designed to be ingested. But using Aquanet as a setting spray, what will it do to your skin? Well, for me personally, I didn't seem to have any more acne using hairspray as a setting spray, because the types of makeups I was using on my skin were known to cause breakouts anyway. It was old-fashioned grease paint. So if you're using grease paint, you're going to have acne anyway. So it's not like the setting spray is going to make any difference in that whatsoever. And people do still use grease paint relatively often in theater and in special effects makeup. So it's, one of those things that you kind of can't really 100% get away with. You kind of still have to use some of these things.
You can't. And for me, it might have... I've noticed a little bit more dryness to my face. But that was, back in the day.
Yeah, and it's still, like, even some setting sprays today will dry my skin out, again, because they contain the alcohol. But because Tabby and I decided to do a little bit of digging into the ingredients of some of these setting sprays, and what we found out is that the chemical composition of Aquanet hairspray and the chemical composition of Ben Nye's Final Seal is very similar.
They're not that much different. There are some, polymers and stuff that are in Aquanet that are not in Ben Nye's. But, they both contain alcohol. They both contain a good amount of things that you would find in hairspray, minus the ability, I think what the polymers are for is to let your hair move a bit.
Yeah. The other thing is that, like, I typed in both the Ben Nye Final Seal and the Aquanet on safeskinproducts.com, and both have a high enough rating that they're considered teen safe. So, it's one of those things where putting Aquanet on your face is not going to cause, like, a major horrific thing to happen.
No.
So, if you are on a budget and don't want to invest in something like Final Seal, then you can use the Aquanet. Just be, understanding that you're going to have to do more skincare, and you really shouldn't breathe either one of these things, and be very careful about that when you're applying it.
And it probably, for me, I never used it as kind of that base. I always use it just to seal.
Just on the top. So you don't want to use it as a base.
You don't want to use it as a base.
For that, I would say, use your regular primer, or Mayron, actually, that barrier spray is designed to be used on the skin first. Specifically, it was designed because there are people that have medical condition called hyperhidrosis. They sweat extensively from their faces. And so Mayron designed the barrier spray so that it contains a antiperspirant in it to help theatrical performers that sweat a lot keep their makeup on during the performance. That's what the barrier spray was designed for.
Exactly. And
so that is perfectly fine to use on your skin directly. You don't have to worry about it.
Just don't, use the hairspray directly on
No.
your skin. That's not a good idea.
The other thing is that right now, what is considered to be the most intensive setting spray for makeup is by a company, I believe it's like PLR, but the two products are the Blue Marble Sealer Spray and the Green Marble Sealer Spray. Those, however, we don't think are a real good idea to use because they both contain silica.
I tend to steer away from a lot of products that contain silica. I know that you're not able to in many cases, but I tend to.
Because it's very harsh on the skin. It's not just, this is where, if you have anything like eczema,
right,
or like
rosacea,
extreme, anything like that, you're going to have a lot of irritation, and, you don't need the extensive drying that silica plus alcohol is going to give. And, none of us want to cause anybody that we're working on any extra issues.
Right. I mean,
so I would save those for people that don't have any major skin issues, and if you flat out are using underwater work. I wouldn't use that stuff for anything else. But you can actually use Ben Nye Final Seal and dip underwater for a short amount of time, and your makeup still come out okay. It's not like it's going to drip down your face or anything.
We always run the risk, but
yeah, I mean, for the most part, Final Seal probably will do a pretty decent job of keeping everything on your face.
Right.
Now, what I can't tell you is whether or not it'll be sticky afterward. There's a good chance it will, because the, chlorine and stuff in the water conflicting with the binding with things and all that stuff. We don't want to get too far into it, but there's a possibility you'll get sticky and you'll probably need to reapply your makeup when you're done at some point, but just don't put anything on your face because you're going to be like, bleh, that feels awful. It's not like, it's going to be, anything horrible, but if you, stick a tissue to your face, you might pull off a piece of tissue, That's the type of thing you're dealing with.
I mean, but you kind of accept that, if you're doing underwater shoots and stuff like that, you're going to have a bit of discomfort.
Exactly. So, it's just, we wanted to talk about some of these professional products because especially since there's a lot of cosplayers both on YouTube and on apps like TikTok doing all these looks, going out and doing these things. So we thought it was an important thing to talk about because a lot of people may not know about these products and how they're used and how they should be used. And we thought it would be a good idea to provide a little bit of education.
Yeah. So, there you have it.
Comment down below with what your favorite setting spray is.
Let us know. We may even be able to review it
here.
So, until then.
Bye.